If you're anything like me, 2020 hasn't been a great year for you. There have been fires, a global pandemic, the stock market crashed, you lost your job, there were murder hornets. Did we forget about the murder hornets? I feel like we forgot about the murder hornets. And now there's global racial unrest. Man, and it's barely June. All right. Well, let's just take what 2020 gives us and try to make the best out of it. Let's make brown butter cookies. Welcome to Big Beard Cooking. So for today, we're going to be making brown butter chocolate chip cookies. Now, these are different than your normal chocolate chip cookies. We're going to brown our butter first. It's going to give us a greater depth of flavor at the end. So let's start browning some butter. We've got 2 sticks of butter here over medium heat. We cut those into 4 so they melt easier. We're going to continue to stir this until everything browns. Now what we're doing by browning our butter is we're adding notes of toffee or caramel to our cookies, which will give our cookies a greater depth of flavor, which will really help separate these cookies from any cookies you've had before. As your butter gets closer to brown, you should start smelling notes of toffee or caramel in the air. That's how you know you're just about done. All right, I got this as brown as I like it. I smell notes of toffee and caramel. Let's start working on our dry ingredients. Now to start with our dry ingredients, we're going to take 2 cups of flour and add it to our bowl. Then we're going to take a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and add it to the flour. From there, we're just going to whisk our dry ingredients together. All right, it's time to start on our wet ingredients. Let's add that cooled down brown butter now. Let's add 1 cup of lightly packed brown sugar. Let's add a half a cup of white sugar. Now let's mix. Don't be afraid to scrape down the sides as this thing mixes. Now after you mix your sugar and your butter for about a minute, go ahead and add in your vanilla and your eggs. Now we're going to be adding in 2 large eggs plus 1 extra yolk. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And once you got those in, go ahead and continue to mix. Once all your wet ingredients are combined, go ahead and start adding in your dry ingredients. Once you got everything in the same bowl, go ahead and start mixing. All right, everything just came together. Now we have the base of our cookies done. Let's add our chocolate. Now when it comes to chocolate, you can use anything you want. If you want to use chips, go for it. I myself, I'm going to use a couple chocolate bars. Now I have here is a semi-sweet and a bittersweet chocolate. I think the combination of those is really nice. So we're going to rough chop these up as best we can, and then we're going to fold them into our cookie dough. All right, so we have roughly chopped up 8 ounces of chocolate. If you're using chocolate chips, it's a little over a cup, cup and a half, roughly in that zone. So we're just going to go ahead and add that to our cookie dough and fold it all together. All right, we got our chocolate folded into our cookie dough. We've got it wrapped up. We're going to put it in the fridge for about an hour, and then we'll come back and make cookies. All right, so it's been a little over an hour now. We've got our cookie dough out. Let's go and get on the trays. Now for this, we're going to need 2 baking trays with silicone mats or parchment paper if you have it, and also a 1/4 of a cup scoop. This will just help size our cookies correctly. So what we're going to do for the cookie dough is we're going to scoop it up and then we're going to roll it into a ball in our hands, and then we're going to tear it in half and we're going to keep the jagged edges vertical. This will help expand the cookie evenly in the pan. Now when you're baking these cookies, you want to leave enough space in the pan to really allow everything to expand. If you put these too close, they're going to run into each other. I found that about 4 cookies per pan really does the trick right. All right, we've been preheating our oven at 350 for a while now. We got our cookies on our sheets. Let's go put these in the oven. These cookies are going to go for about 12 to 18 minutes, depending on how underdone or overdone you like your cookie. I prefer a more underdone cookie, so I'm going to put them closer to 12. If you want yours a little bit more crispy, put them towards 18. In this recipe, we're going with a pan drop method, which is basically trying to pop all the bubbles that are created from the baking soda. All we do for this is lift the pan up and drop it in the oven around the 6-minute mark. This method will give us a chewier cookie at the end. I'm gonna pull these cookies once the edges get golden brown and stiff, but the middles will remain soft and chewy. All right, these are hot out the oven. We're gonna let these cool down for about 15 minutes and then we'll come back with a nice plate of cookies. And there we go, we have our brown butter, ooey gooey, chocolatey chunky cookies. These are so good, they're gonna be hit at your next office party or birthday party or shame eating at 3 a.m. by yourself. Who's here to judge? Not me. I just hope you try them because they are delicious. And remember, I may not make something authentic, but I will make something authentically delicious. Thank you.